son Yahweh for the reading and the understanding of his word today. Forgive me for a little bit of my tardiness. I have had a day. All praises to the Most High that he has blessed me to get through this day. We give all glory, all praises, all honor to Yahweh and his son Yahweh for the reading and the understanding of his word today. Hello out there, family. This is the Shi'yah with your bro Shi'yah. I want you guys to today, the class that we're doing today is called The Law is Our Guide. The law is our guide. Because, we got people that want to be deep. Everybody want to know the deepest secrets of the Bible. Everybody want to know all these extravagant things, right? Everyone wants to know them, right? But what we got to focus on and remember is that your enemy pulled a trick on us. Everyone thinks they have the formula to success, to having a successful community or putting together. They think it's economics. They think it's all about us. What's up, black man? And just only brotherhood. No, economics, brotherhood, and all of these things coming together cannot work without the laws of the Most High. Okay, it will never work. It cannot work, and that's what the enemy has tricked us into believing, or steered our minds into other places. I'm going to show you. I want you guys to go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, and we're going to start at the book of Proverbs, chapter 1 today, because you can never, ever forget wisdom. You can never, ever forget the laws of the Father. And a lot of times we have people that want to be deep, and sometimes we end up being deep dummies. We end up becoming deep dummies because we don't have any wisdom. Now watch this. This is the wisdom of Solomon. And I'm going to start at chapter 1 and verse 1. Now watch this. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, right? To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice and judgment and equity. So this is the beginning of wisdom. This is what we need to know. The law needs to be our guide. We have to have wisdom enough to know that the law gives us wisdom. The law is the guide for Israel. Now watch verse 4. It says to give subtlety to the simple. What is subtlety? To give guidance, wisdom, right? Structure, to give subtlety to the simple, right? Cunning. Watch this. To the simple, to the young man, knowledge and discretion. So the way that we're going to come together is we're going to start having knowledge and discretion, right? And it says, verse 5, a wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. These are the things that we need. Verse 6, to understand a proverb and interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. Now watch this. Verse 7, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Y'all listen, we need to stop being deep dummies. We need to stop diving into things that we don't really see or don't understand, or just trying to get extra knowledge. Let's just stick with what we know. Stick with the wisdom. Don't try to go too deep on things, right? I'm gonna give you a quote by Yahweh, but before I get that quote, we're gonna go to Psalms chapter 19. Psalms chapter 19. The book of Psalms chapter 19. And I'm gonna start at verse 7. It says, the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. You see that? The judgments are right altogether. They're pure altogether. They're perfect. These things are perfect, right? These things are 100% perfect, and we have to understand these things. We have to know them, and we're going to chew on these words until we get a perfect understanding of what we need to be doing, right? I want you to go to the book of John, chapter 10. Did I say chapter 10? I did say chapter 10. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Not John chapter 10. I want you to go to John, the book of John, chapter 15, real quick. Real quick. I want you to go to chapter 15 and verse 10. This is the book of John, chapter 15 and verse 10. And Yahweh Shai said, if ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. Stop. When we keep the commandments, we abide in the love of the Father. Yahweh Shai is teaching us, holding our hands, walking us. This is like someone pushing a child on a tricycle or on a bicycle with what they call it, the training wheels on it. He said, I've kept the commandments. I'm telling you to keep the commandments. I'm telling you to do the righteous thing here. And even as I keep them, you keep them. Right? I'm gonna read that again. If ye keep my commandments, ye shall, meaning you shall, abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. This doesn't ever change. It always stays the same. We don't have to get deep. We don't have to do anything. Now watch this. I want you to jump over to John chapter 5. Go to chapter 5 real quick. And we're going to read real quick what he told us in John chapter 5. And I think it's verse 40. Let me look at it. It's verse 45. John chapter 5 and verse 45. It says, do not think that I will accuse you to the Father. He said, don't think I'm going to judge you. He says, there is one that accuseth you, even Moses, in whom ye trust. For had ye believed Moses, ye would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words? See, a lot of times we like to get so deep that we get away from the commandments. We forget to keep the commandments. We forget that these commandments are what's going to give us wisdom, right? This right here is the end all be all of what we're supposed to be doing. Keeping the commandments. We're going to use these commandments as a guide, and we're going to keep doing them, right? We're going to keep doing them until we die, until kingdom come. That's how long we're going to do these commandments, right? And remember, we don't want to be deep dummies. We want to be righteous and knowledgeable Israelites. Righteous and knowledgeable Israelites, right? Let's go to John chapter 7, and we're going to read verse 19. John chapter 7 and verse 19. And he said, did not Moses give you the law, and yet none of you kept the law? Why go ye about to kill me? This is Yahweh Shai arguing or going back and forth with the Pharisees. He said, didn't Moses give you the law? And none of you kept the law. So what does that mean? We're supposed to be keeping the law too. There's never a time that we don't keep the law. And the crazy thing about it is these things are to be done for our benefit, for our healing, for everything with us. Let's go all the way to the book of Revelations real quick. I want to go to Revelations. I want to show you guys something. I want you to go to Revelations, and we're going to read Revelations chapter 22 and verse 1. And I'm going to read a little bit. I want to show you guys something, because there's never a time that we're not going to be doing this. So we have to understand Revelations in its entirety. We have to understand the book of Genesis in its entirety. We have to understand that these laws will never change. The Father told us something and he stuck with it, right? Man and doctrine and people that come to steal, kill, steal, and destroy will try to change the word of the Father over time. But we're going to stick with it. Watch this. This is Revelation chapter 22, and we're going to start at verse 1. And he showed me a pure river of water of life. When he says pure river of water of life, these are the commandments. They never change. It says clear as crystal. What is clear as crystal? The word. Proceeding out of the throne of God and of the Lamb, meaning the Lamb is Yahushua who told us what to do. The Most High's commandments never changed. Yahushua told us to keep the law, right? Watch this. It says in verse 2, it says, in the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month. Who is that? That's the 12 tribes. That means we're all going to be full of wisdom, knowledge, understanding in the last days, teaching all the nations, right? And it says, and the leaves, now watch this, and the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. Y'all understand that? We're going to be full of wisdom. So it doesn't help us to get deep or become deep dummies. It only helps us to learn these laws. And everyone who wants to get deep, they haven't mastered these laws. They haven't mastered the way that Yahushua is teaching us how to walk. So we don't want to do that. We want to stay in these laws. He says the leaves were for the healing of the nations. You're going to be a priest. You're going to be wielding this Bible as a sword. You're going to be wielding the word of the Father as a sword. You're going to be rendering judgment, telling people where they went wrong at. So we have to start learning this book that way, right? And it says, verse 3 says, and there shall be no more curse on the Israelites, but the throne of God and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him. Stop. How will the servants serve the Father? How will they serve the Father? The only way we're going to serve the Father is through keeping his commandments. There's no other way that we're going to serve him. There's no other way. There's nothing else. There's nothing else that's going to happen that's going to make us to do anything different as far as serving the Father, right? I want to read some more for you. Let's read some more. I want you to go to the book. I want you to go to the book of Colossians. We're going to go to Colossians real quick. I'm going to show you how nothing ever changes. Nothing ever changes. I want you to go to Colossians chapter 2. Chapter 2. And you know, let's start at verse 1. Chapter 2 and verse 1 of the book of Colossians. It says, for I would that he knew what great conflict I have for you, and from them at Laodicea, and for as many as have not seen my face in the flesh. This is Paul speaking. That their hearts be comforted, being knit together in love, and unto all riches of the full assurance of understanding, and the full assurance of understanding, and of understanding to the acknowledgement of the mystery of God and of the Father and of Christ. It says the acknowledgement to the mystery. What is the mystery? The mystery is when we stick on what he told us to do, keep it very simple, and do exactly what he told us to do, we're going to get the mysteries, right? We're going to get the understanding. Watch this, verse 3. In whom are hid all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. How do we get all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge? We continue to stay in the word. We continue to keep the commandments, and our wisdom and our knowledge grows. Verse 4. And this I say, lest any man should beguile you with enticing words. Stop right there. It's very easy for us to become beguiled with clever words, charisma, but nothing changes. Nothing changes. Absolutely nothing. Listen, this is something we're gonna stay on, we're gonna be on. The mysteries of the Most High are in his commandments. The mysteries of the Father, the things that Yahweh Shah taught us, are simply in the commandments, statutes of the Father. Gathering with your people, keeping the commandments, doing the new moon feast, doing the Sabbath day, making sure you're keeping on that. A lot of people think that there's some type of super mysticism to this. It's not. This is what we're doing, and the power comes in your obedience. Your power comes in your obedience. That is it. And it is great power that will come with that, but you have to be humble to receive that power. Let's keep going. Verse 5. This is chapter 2 and verse 5 of the book of Colossians. It says, "For though I be absent in the flesh, yet am I with you in the spirit, joying and beholding your order and the steadfastness of your faith in Christ." What is the steadfastness of your faith in Christ? The steadfastness is you continuing to obey, you continuing to listen. Just listening. What is that steadfastness? When everything that he told us to do, we continue to do it. Period, point blank. Nothing hard about it, nothing crazy about it. Don't do nothing extra, you know. Enjoy your life in righteousness. You know, be someone who can be dependable. Try to be a rock for your people, just as Yahweh Shah was a rock for us. Try to be a rock for your people. Try to be that person that people can depend on. Let your yay be yay, your nay be nay. You know what I'm saying? Develop positive habits. That's what we're supposed to do. Develop positive habits, right? Always understand that. You know, we don't ever want to put ourselves in a complacent place where we're stagnant, or where we're just, I guess, bored, for the lack of a better word, so bored that we go into different things that really don't matter. Okay? Remember that. I want you to go with me to the book of John chapter 14. John chapter 14. And this is something that I need you guys to understand. This is why we do this. I'm fixing to read for you guys the reason why we do this, the reason why we have our faith in this, because it's very important for us to stay on this course, right? This is John chapter 14 and verse 1. The book of John chapter 14 and verse 1. And it reads, "Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in Yahweh, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would not have told you. I go to prepare a place for you." What is he talking about? Everyone who is obedient to his word, all of us Israelites who are doing what we're supposed to, he said, "I'm going to prepare a place for you." Guess what that place is going to be? Right here. And guess what? It's going to be a paradise. But we have to have faith, and we have to keep our faith, and we have to keep moving in righteousness according to what he told us to do. Right? I believe that place is there. I believe we're going to get that place. Verse 3, it says, "And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. And whether I go, ye know, and the way ye know." Stop. He said, "Where I'm gonna go, that's where you're gonna go." He said, "The way you know." He said, "I know the way, you know the way." What is that way? Keeping the commandments, obeying the Father in what he told us to do. When the enemy tells you that you cannot keep commandments, that is just a trick and a lie from the devil. Because right here, he's telling us that we can keep the commandments. If he didn't believe that we could keep the commandments right here, why did he say this? Why did he say, it says, "And whether I go, ye know, and the way ye know. Where he goes, we know, and the way is keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability. That's the way. That's the mission. That's the instruction. Where I go, you go, in the way you know. Jump to verse 10. Verse 10 said, believest thou not that I am in the Father, and the Father in me? The words that I speak unto you, I speak not of myself, but the Father that dwelleth in me, he does the works. He doth the works. So what is he saying? What works is he talking about? Keeping his commandments, right? And he said, believe, he's telling you, believe thou not that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me. The words that I speak unto you, I speak not of myself. Christ did not come with a new doctrine. He did not come with different words. He came with the same words that are listed here. There was no New Testament, so we cannot say, oh, well, he just had his own commandments. No, he didn't. He had the commandments of the Father, and he was teaching us the word more perfectly. That's his mission, and guess what? That's your mission, to teach the word more perfectly than the people who are on the streets, who have no understanding, who are misled, misguided. You have to teach the word more perfectly, just as they're teaching, just as Yahushua taught us the word more perfectly. Watch this. I want you to jump to verse 15. It says, if ye love me, keep my commandments, and I will pray the Father, and he shall give you another comforter, that he may abide with you forever. How long? Forever. Now watch this. Even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it seeth him not, neither knoweth him. But ye know him, for he dwelleth in you and shall be in you. What is that talking about? Those who are keeping the commandments. This is how the Spirit of truth dwells in you. The Spirit of truth is the commandments, is the light, is the law. That's the Spirit of truth, right? And this is the point. I want to jump to verse 21. Verse 21 says, he that hath my commandments and keepeth them, he it is that loveth me. And he that loveth me shall be loved of my Father. And I will love him and will manifest myself to him. I will give him more understanding. Those who are keeping the law are going to get more understanding. And he says, my commandments. A lot of people, I had a brother who misinterpreted this scripture right here to me one time. And he said, see, Christ had his own commandments, and he took me right here and he read this to me. Now, if you read this, when we read chapter 14 and verse 1, he's telling you that he has many mansions. He's telling you if you do the will of the Father, it's the same will as his. So how can that be a new set of commandments? And the answer to that is it can't be. Christ never came and had his own set of commandments. That's a lie. He never had his own set of commandments. He had the commandments of the Father, and he taught us with patience and with love to keep the commandments, period. And it's not anything complicated other than people who want to become mystical and have all these different doctrines. That's when you complicate yourself. I tell people all the time, keep the word of the Father simple. Yahushua never got anything, he spoke in parables, but he did not ever overcomplicate the word. He never you can tell by reading this that he never overcomplicated the word. Verse 23, this is chapter 14 and verse 23 of the book of John. It says, Yahushua answered and said unto him, if a man love me, he will keep my words, and my Father will love him, and we will come unto him and make our abode with him. He that loveth me not keepeth not my sayings, and the word which ye hear, is not mine, but the Father's which sent me. Stop. That is very clear. The word that you hear, he said, is not mine, but the Father that is with me. Very simple. Very simple. He never overcomplicated the word. He always kept it just righteous and right on time. Right? Now watch this. I want you to go to Psalms. Turn with me to the book of Psalms, chapter 119. We're gonna get some knowledge today. And if you ever notice, you could tell that Yahushua read Psalms a lot. He quoted a lot with Psalms. He mastered Psalms. And it's very it's very evident that he did that, but that's for us to always do. We're supposed to master and meditate on Psalms as well. Proverbs, all of this book. But he was a master, a very, very, very swordsman with Psalms. Now watch this. Psalms chapter 119 and verse 15. Psalms chapter 119 and verse 15. Now watch this. He says, I will meditate in thy precepts and have respect unto thy ways. He says, I'm gonna meditate on these precepts, and I'm gonna have respect unto thy ways. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be meditating on these precepts. And then how do you have respect unto his ways? Start to practice them. Start to do them. Watch this. It says, I want you to jump up, go backwards. Verse 4, it says, thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. Wow. So how do we get that misconstrued with nobody can keep the law? We should just do the best we can, and what we can't do, we can't do. No, he said he is commanded, that it says, thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. So we're supposed to keep with all our heart, all our mind, all our soul, with all our might, right? These are things that we are supposed to do. Jump to verse 8. Jump to verse 7. Verse 7. I will praise thee with uprightness of heart when I shall have learned thy righteous judgments. So you're going to praise the Father with uprightness of heart or uprightness of mind when you what? When you have learned his judgments. You don't do it before you learn his judgment. So ain't no reason to get deep. Ain't no reason to become a deep dummy, because you're going to learn when he gives you the knowledge. Read verse 7 again. I will praise thee with uprightness of heart when I shall have learned thy righteous judgments. When you learn his judgments, that's how you praise him with uprightness in heart. Verse 8, I will keep thy statutes. Forsake me not utterly. He will forsake you utterly when you neglect his statutes. What are his statutes? Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Keep the new moon feast, right? Keep the other high holy days to the best of your abilities, right? This is how you gain knowledge, wisdom, understanding, right? Watch this. I want you to keep turning with me. As a matter of fact, we're going to stay 119 in verse 32. Psalms 119 in verse 32. Watch this. It reads, I will run the way of thy commandments when thou shalt enlarge my heart. Stop. Is he talking about enlarging the thing in your chest? Or is he talking about enlarging your mind or your understanding? He's talking about enlarging or widening your understanding. I'm going to read it again. Verse 32. I will run the way of thy commandments when thou shalt enlarge my heart. Right? Jump to 34. 34. Give me understanding, and I shall keep thy law. Yea, I shall observe it with my whole heart. You wonder why he gave us these laws like this. He gave us these laws because we're supposed to learn to keep them with our whole heart. Don't fall into complications. Don't do anything complicated. Keep it simple. Keep it righteous, right? Verse 40. Verse 40. Behold, I have longed after thy precepts. Quicken me in my righteousness, in thy righteousness. So we're supposed to want it. We're supposed to be hungry for the law, statutes, and commandments. And he says, quicken me, make me alive, make me alive, make me live, quicken me in thy righteousness, in thy laws. Make me alive in thy laws, right? Verse 44, so shall I keep thy law continually, watch this, forever and ever. When does that stop? He says in chapter 119 and verse 44, he says, so shall I keep thy law continually forever and forever. When does that stop? And see this, right? That one verse, chapter 119 and verse 44, totally contradicts the doctrine of today. Most of the doctrines of today that we were taught from children. When does forever end? Well, the answer to that is forever never ends. So when does he want us to stop keeping his laws? Never. There's never a time where we're not going to not going to be keeping his laws. We believe, a lot of people believe, we don't believe that, but a lot of people believe that you can raise hell on earth and you can live like a wretch, like you just want to do whatever you want to do, and then you can just say I'm sorry and then just get salvation. And it doesn't work that way. We have to start learning. We have to start doing, right? I want you to keep going. We're going to stay in 119, Psalms 119, because there's so much honey there, right? I want you to read with me 119 and verse 125. 119 and 125 of the book of Psalms. It says, I am thy servant, give me understanding, that I may know thy testimonies. It is time for thee, Lord, to work, for they have made void thy law. Stop. We're telling him that we're his servant. We're asking for understanding. We're praying for understanding, right? He says, give me understanding that I may keep your testimonies. And it says, it is time for thee, O Lord, to work, for they have made void thy law. Who has? The world has made void the law. Because even the ones who are saying you don't have to keep it, a lot of them don't keep it. They're not saying it, but they're still not keeping it. Verse 127. It says, therefore, I love thy commandments above gold, yea, above fine gold. So this is how you have to hold them in esteem. Verse 128. Therefore, I esteem all thy precepts concerning all things to be right. Wait a minute. Concerning all things to be right, and I hate every false way. What is he saying concerning all things to be right? He's saying everything in the book of wisdom is right. So he's telling you all the things that are written are right. All the things that he giving you, and a lot of times what they do is they'll place semantics in the Bible. They'll place semantics on things we don't do this, but the laws stay the same. So you can't mistake keep the Sabbath holy. Don't lie, don't steal, don't kill, don't commit adultery, right? These are things we cannot mistake. And the enemy has tried his best, his damnness to come in and make a mockery of the word of the Father. But he can't do that. Verse 160. Verse 160. Matter of fact, we're going to read verse 159. Consider how I love thy precepts. Quicken me, O Lord, according to thy loving kindness. Thy word is true from the beginning, and every one of thy righteous judgments endureth forever. He said, every one of his righteous judgments endureth forever. It doesn't change. It does not change. These laws are here to stay. They're not going anywhere. I got one more for you. I want to go to Psalms chapter 1. I want to go to chapter 1 in chapter 1 in verse 1. Good, listen, good stuff. Good, man. Wonderful, wonderful precepts. This is Psalms chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. Stop. We got to, you know what? A lot of people that we call ourselves having as friends in the world, sometimes it's good not to be around everything that they do. He says, blessed is the man who walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. You know who your friends are that are ungodly. You know who they are. It says, nor standeth in the way of sinners, meaning just going over there and hanging out all the time, right? The Bible says, when thou is amongst the indiscreet, observe the time. You have to separate yourself so that you don't become like that sinner or like those people that are ungodly, right? Put yourself around people who are trying to keep the law. Stop being deep. Stop thinking that everything has I had a dream and this. No, just let that stuff go. Keep it simple. It says, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, meaning being around people with a foul mouth, foul attitude, foul disposition. Verse 2, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. That's where you're gonna get your wisdom. That's where you're gonna get peace, your peace. That's where you're gonna be okay. That's where you're gonna get your understanding. Verse 3, and he shall be like a tree planted by the river of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. What is a tree planted by the river? That's a tree that is going to grow strong. That's a tree who has knowledge, wisdom, understanding. That tree is a person. That water, that river is the wisdom that the Father has. That's what that means. And it says, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season, his leaf also shall not wither, meaning his wisdom shall not wither, his countenance shall not wither, he shall never die. It says, and whatsoever he does shall prosper. Anything that you put your mind to when you keeping these commandments, you are going to prosper. Anything that you put forth, in keeping these laws, it is going to prosper when you are faithful to the Father. Verse 4, it says, the ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind bloweth away. Therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation. Whoa, of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of righteousness, of the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Boom. There you have it, family. We have to make sure we keep ourselves righteous. We keep ourselves keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. Make sure we're doing these things, because this is the only way that we have to righteousness. This is the only thing that can keep us out of danger, out of trouble, out of situations. We got to remember that. We got to keep doing that, right? And regardless, if somebody sees you and you're turning your leaf over, you're becoming an Israelite, you're starting to keep these laws. If somebody sees you, when they see you next year, you should be stronger. When they see you the year after that, you should be even stronger. They should see a progression in your walk, because you're using the faith of Christ, Yahushua, or Mashiach, the man the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. You're using the faith of Christ, and you're also keeping the laws of the Most High God. That's my class today. I hope you guys got some good understanding. I hope y'all got some good precepts. I hope y'all were able to write these things down. I hope I didn't go too fast for my family. But with that, I say shalom. Shalom, family. Love y'all.